babies.
Thank you, Irene.
Bill, you're all caught up.
Yeah.
Do you want to take my first? Do you want to take my first question, Bill? You can take my first question, Bill.
All right.
Oh, we're gonna let Bill start the show off.
Yeah.
The interview off.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Just so Anthony knows what he's getting himself into.
these usually go well. Okay, here we go.
No, I'll just jump in where I usually do. I like this off the cuff. Off the
There you
cuffs.
go. Sure, yeah, of course. We got a slow audio connect.
Been the worst one yet.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
You got to click it.
Is it the man bun or no?
It could be.
You
Anthony, you got us?
I like the man bun. See, these guys are just jealous because they're a receding hairline, so they don't like anyone with nice hair.
We got bad hair, but I appreciate some nice hair.
The front's starting to go one way, so I'm making up for it in the back.
Not a boy. Hey,
That's not a bad plan.
that's a smart move. Bill, take notes.
Dude,
Brad, that's
I
what your
got
mother did.
nothing.
I'm eventually gonna do that old Billy Ray Cyrus thing. Remember?
Oh, shit, yeah.
He's way better looking than you. I don't know if you can pull it off.
Fair enough. But I'm also trying to make money off my daughter, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, touche.
Yeah, me too.
We didn't know we were allowed to ask questions about that.
Oh, but everything's on the table. Everything's on the table.
Ah, never
Right
mind.
on, man. Well, we'll get into it. I know we got a busy schedule here. With us on the Silver Mind Sports Show is Anthony K of the Sports Fluent podcast, the coach and AK. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
absolutely. So, how long? When did you guys start this podcast?
I started the podcast about a year and a half ago,
Okay.
and I had Coach on as a guest. So I have the coach and AK as myself. I'm
Yep.
AK Anthony K, and then coach is Hue Jackson. People unfortunately remember him from the Browns, but he was a great coach for the Bengals and the Raiders, and now he's the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State University. And I actually had him on as a guest, and it went so well that about a year ago we just started doing it together every week. And it's been pretty good. We've had some great guests. We talk a lot of football, social issues, basketball. It's a lot of fun.
Did you ever think about getting a coach that's won more than 10 games in the NFL as a co-host or no?
As a head coach, yeah, that I did. However, I will say very few people know as much about football. People give him a hard time. People do.
Oh, I bet.
No, he had a good little run with
Obviously.
the Raiders.
But
He
if
got
you
fucked
look,
with the
you look at
Raiders.
what he did as an offensive coordinator, I think people forget the reason the Browns hired him is because he was the offensive coach of the year for the Bengals the year before. And listen, we've actually had quite a few talks in depth now that I don't know if you know this, the Browns actually signed him to an extension.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
the 04
Yeah, we
season. Right?
Yeah,
He tells the story better than I do, but they signed him to an extension, and then that ended just this year. So at the end of this season. So he hasn't been able to talk about it until the end of this season. So
Oh, interesting.
been a lot of interesting stuff that's come out since.
He's
No,
just,
he
he's just
did-
been riding on the dime of the Browns for a couple of years.
You know,
staying
I wish
silent.
someone would pay me
No
just to
kidding,
not
right?
talk.
Stay
That's
home.
all I
That'd be
need to be as a
great.
head coach. Just fire me after a year and just let me collect some
Bob-
checks for a couple
Bobby
more years.
Bonilla, my ass for the rest of my life. I'll be fine.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm looking
Do you
forward
think last question, because we don't want to berate coach here, but do you think he does think about that one tie in his 3-36 record with the Browns? Like, does he stay awake? Do you think thinking like what would a fourth win feel like?
I think we've talked about a lot of this. I think that what was going on, and again, it's his story to tell, but what was going on in his personal life, what the ownership and that group was telling him behind closed doors, and obviously the losses that he incurred, I think weighed on him mentally, as I think anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think he did a really good job of coming out of that. But listen, man, he was told one thing. If you, again, it's probably not to
Dude,
go
the
too
Browns-
much into this. If you look at the roster that he was
Fucking
hired,
Browns.
right? If you look at Bill Belichick couldn't coach the Browns, guys. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean, like you don't have to explain it away.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we get
I
who
mean,
the
if you
Browns
look
are.
at the roster that he signed up to coach, and then what he had day one, it was completely different. They were doing a thing. They were experimenting with analytics. And let's be honest, it didn't work.
Yeah, Paul DePodesta should not be running an NFL team. That fucking Moneyball dork.
There's no doubt that Hue Jackson knows more football in his pinky than most people will ever learn in their entire life. Yeah. It's just one of those tokens that he's going to have to wear.
He's going to have to live with it. Yeah, yeah.
And as long as he's, it seems like I listened to a couple of your shows or pieces of him, and he's got a good attitude about it. So that's all you can do.
That's all you can have, though, right? You just had you went 0-16.
You laugh or you cry, man.
Yeah. Might as well laugh.
Let's get to know Anthony Gay or Bill. You want to start us off, or Ray, whoever had one?
Good.
So you're a Lakers fan, right? Anthony?
Yeah, you're a Lakers and Bears fan. I know you talk everything NBA and NFL. So are the Lakers losing first round? LeBron can't carry this team by himself. If AD's out for the rest of the series.
I got to tell you, I'm in a real tough situation here because I've been a Lakers fan. I don't want to date myself, but I've been a Lakers fan since '82. I grew up in Toronto, and you were either a Laker fan.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just cursed the death of all of you fans before you came on, and I just feel so sorry for you. I'm so sorry.
I'm sure we'll get to that. But in those days, in '82, you're either a Laker fan or a Celtic fan. And I'm not going to lie, I picked the Lakers because I don't like green. Just that's nice. And then I just stuck with them. Yeah. And so I've been a Laker fan, and I've never been a big LeBron guy. So I've been in this real tough situation the last few years where everyone's like, hey, not that I bash LeBron, but I am not one of those guys. I will point out the weaknesses. And as you guys know, if you ever point out a weakness of LeBron, you're going to get attacked.
He's a baby back bitch.
Yeah, so I get attacked quite a bit for my take on LeBron. So now it's like, well, I want him to be successful and win. But if he loses in the first round, I get to say, hey, I told you so.
Yeah.
My other problem is I say Chris Paul is one of the most overrated point guards of all time. And so if they lose in the first round, I also get to say, I told you so. So I'm in a win-win situation.
There you go. Well,
there you go. That's a good way to look at it.
Working on clockwork this year with another injury in the first round of the playoffs, huh?
Always. He can't stay healthy. It's ridiculous.
I forget who it was, but someone was saying they were watching the Lakers and Suns warm up and said, hey, look, you could tell Chris Paul's hurt by the way that he's not warming up. And I said, no, you could tell Chris Paul's hurt from the fact that he's not available when his team needs him.
Yeah, is the playoffs started? That's why you know Chris Paul's
it's unfortunate.
It's time to check out.
Yeah, it's kind of like Austin Matthews, no? Too soon? Too soon? Too soon?
The good thing is on my list, it's at the bottom. The Leafs are at the bottom of that list, so it doesn't hurt me as bad.
Oh man, what a tragedy. I mean, it was honestly like a Shakespearean play, just like a tragedy going on right in front of your eyes. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I put it out there to all my, Torontonians, and I said, hey, what did you expect? And then I looked through the comments, and almost everyone was like, yeah, this is what we expected. So it shouldn't come as a surprise. Anyone who's throwing their Leafs jersey in the garbage, and I've seen people lighting it on fire, it's every year. It's expected.
Yeah. I may not have lit a Brady jersey on fire once or twice. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. It happens.
Let's get back to a little bit of basketball, though. Yeah. But what do the Lakers got to do this offseason to get back to that title hunt?
Steph Curry.
You think that's a possibility, though? Come on.
This is the thing we've learned about the NBA. If he wants to go, they'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
But not necessarily Steph. But I don't care how great LeBron has been, and he's been great. But I have him as second all time. He needs help, as everyone needs help. Anthony Davis isn't. Listen, we found out he's not a number one. And is he a number two? It depends. Can he stay healthy? And I don't trust him to stay healthy. So no, and that's the only reason. Talent-wise, he's a number two. Availability, he's not.
Yeah, which is becoming harder and harder to find. Honestly.
Like Klay Thompson.
Do you like the Steph thing? Do you walk around feeling a little bit dirty as a Lakers fan, just buying like kind of horror-y championships, especially with LeBron? Like you went and bought Shaq. The Celtics grind away at trades and terrible drafts for years. They miss out on Duncan. They get one championship, and they set themselves up, and then you just go buy LeBron, and now you've got one before, Tatum.
I'm taking that you're a Celtics fan. So, hey, listen, did you feel dirty when they brought over KG and Ray
Hey,
Allen?
those
No,
were
that was a
trades.
great
Those
trade.
were good
That was a
trades.
great trade.
Fantastic
So
trade.
was Shaq. So
Yeah.
was Shaq. Shaq was a great trade.
Oh, so is Paul Gasol.
Yeah, that's right. It's a great. Didn't
Thanks,
the league
Chris
get us,
Wallace.
Didn't the league get us back with Chris Paul? Didn't
You
we
deserved it.
Yeah.
He earned
I didn't know I was walking into this.
Yeah, no, we are a New England sports show. That's what you're dealing with. So I'll stick
right.
on the Celtics. Wait, you got a take on the? You got a little bit hotter than a lukewarm take on the Kyrie thing that we can put our teeth into. I'll tell you mine. I hate him. Go ahead.
I am confused by Kyrie.
Welcome to the
and I
party,
think
man.
most people are. If it's not kind of the flat Earth thing, it always seems to be something going on in his head. And I'll tell you this: it was completely wrong of that fan to throw the bottle at him. Yep. However, if I was a Celtic player, I probably would have pulled. I forget the team, but when I remember when T.O. went and stomped on the Dallas Star.
Yeah, it was Dallas.
Right? And the Cowboy player came and kind of gave him a nice little shove.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if I was a Celtic player, I wouldn't have allowed him to step on our logo at the end of the game. Kind of, I don't know if you noticed, kind of like he was putting out a cigarette. I would have taken great offense to it. So I get it from hey, I'm crazy. I would want to throw the bottle. I'm just smart enough not to.
Yeah.
Well, the fan
at least hit him if you're going to do it.
the fan is a jerk. I mean, I don't think he deserves a felony charge. People get a little bit crazy with that.
No, crazy.
But yeah, I had the same response. If you're a competitor on the Celtics, you can't let Kyrie is respected around the league by players for whatever reason. I think he talks a big game. I think he's a little lucid in the head. Like he just kind of.
I think they all like Uncle Drew.
Yeah, he's very charitable. I think off the court he's okay, but then he starts mixing his off the court stuff, sitting out for things that he can't necessarily relate to overseas. It's just a weird stuff. Threatening to start his own league,
part, right? Isn't that the tough part? It's like, okay, he's fasting, so he's not able to play. I'm okay with that. I respect that. That I get. Yeah. But then he does something really strange or says something that just makes no sense, and it's just like, I don't even know how to take him anymore.
I think he's a fraud. Right? He's got a production company. He knows the cameras are on. He's in that world. I think a lot of it, he does it on purpose, which is that's kind of the worst part with athletes. Just kind of they're acting, right? They're fraudulent in their their demeanor towards things. But then he also wants to flip the switch and be respected as a very serious and knowledgeable and intelligent man. But then you go stomp on the Celtics logo and want to talk just basketball. Yeah, he's insufferable.
And I get, and here's the thing too. I get it from his side. He was getting booed. He was frustrated. They won the game. He wanted to do something. What's frustrating is, and I don't have the answer to this one, but if a player says nothing, right, and just gives you those token canned responses, you say he's got no personality. He sucks. Yeah. If they tell you how they really feel, you're like, this guy's crazy. He sucks. If they put on a performance and they say, hey, I'm representing my brand, we say, well, he's being fake. I don't know how they could, where is that? There's so many thin lines that they got to try and balance. I get it that it's tough for them to do. I don't think he's doing a good job of it, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's well put. I just think being as genuine to yourself as you possibly can, people respect that. Even if you're wildly crazy, if you're just constantly wildly crazy, people start to come around.
He sat out after 7 games because he needed to go spend time with his family. 7 games.
There's a lot of people that respect James Harden for spending most of his offseason in strip clubs and taking out.
Hey, you guys jersey retired there.
Like me, I respect that.
There you go.
Play on, playa.
So yeah, we are all Boston fans. What do you think the Celtics? What do you think the Celtics need to do to change to get into the top 4 team in the East for next year?
Am I going to get killed if I visit Boston? If I say it's the coach?
Oh no! Please go. Welcome.
I think personally. Listen, people are giving Danny H some because he's made some great moves. He's made some questionable ones. However,
Kyrie.
However, I think he's the boy wonder. I think that luster's gone, man. They've given him enough leeway. He had a good run in the beginning, but again, a lot of that I think just was the talent that was there. I think you've got a team right? Skill wise, like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum should be one of the next greatest, right, top 5 players in the NBA.
Yep.
But he needs that. Listen, everybody needs a system, and I think you make a coaching change. I think the roster's okay. I think you make a coaching change, and they're there. And
Well,
they still need to add some. They still need to add some bench pieces. But yeah, I think Brad Stevens, he's trying to bring that Butler offense here, and the positionless basketball, they're getting killed. They're getting killed, and at some point, if you're 2 superstars, and I put that in quotation marks, like if they're not listening to the coach, something needs to move. I want complete and utter total change. I want from Danny Ainge down. I want everybody to change. I don't even care if you move Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I think one of them needs to go, and including call me crazy, but I don't think they play great together. I don't. And I just think you're not getting better with these 2 guys right now when you're trying to build a team around them. You need to make changes from Ainge down.
The easiest thing in the NBA. I mean, like Brad Stevens could still be. You could go to Indiana or San Antonio or wherever and take that team to the playoffs next year, because I think he is a great basketball coach. But he's been there for 8 seasons. Go look at the track record of NBA coaches that have stayed anywhere for 8 seasons outside of Pop or Phil Jackson or the greats. It all gets stale in the NBA. It all gets stale. And Spoelstra is another one that's kind of sneaky, been under the radar. But like other than that, I don't know. Not a lot of guys stay for that long.
But even Jackson, right? Yeah, Pop might be the exception, but even Jackson was what? He was in Chicago for 10 to 11. Like it wasn't even that long.
No. Yeah.
And he had Mike with the Lakers. So, and he had Mike, right? He had Mike and then he had Kobe.
Yeah.
It's easier to coach when you got those guys.
He's the most overrated coach of all time. He's had 6 of the top 12 players of all time on his roster.
He has had he has been very lucky. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a great coaching job to control all those egos, right? When you've got, because we know what Pippen turned out to be, out off the court. That Jordan isn't the easiest guy to deal with, right? And then for a stretch there, you had Rodman too, to keep all those egos in check. And then he had Kobe and Shaq and
who hated each other, and he had to coexist.
So while I see what you're saying, in terms of overrated because of the talent he's had, I also then on the flip side of that, I give him some credit because those are some big egos to try to keep in check.
Yeah, and that's one thing Brad Stevens can't do. You heard the rumors Boobie Cousins, and he didn't want Boobie Cousins when he was up in
you saying
New Orleans. Boobie?
It's Boogie.
Boogie, sorry. I'm thinking about fucking Friday Night Lights. Anyways, Boogie, yeah, but you try
a few more pounds.
I just like Boobie.
If he puts on a few more pounds, it will be Boobie.
Somebody
but no, I mean, like you look at like egos. I mean, yeah, it's one good quality of him. I think is triangle offense is a little overrated, but yeah, that's a big thing Brad Stevens doesn't have. You saw a couple of years ago with Kyrie, Marcus Morris, all these guys that they were all fighting for attention. Even Terry Rozier, a freaking young guy that was had a good. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before, and Terry Rozier was one of the main guys. And he couldn't handle those egos, and they ran him out of town. Basically, got rid of him for Kemba, but it's looking like the wrong move with the way Terry Rozier is playing. So, like, that's a huge difference. He's used to the college guys. This is I'm fire Brad now. Yeah. After this game, fire him.
Yeah, talent. Listen, talent is one thing. You need to have talented players, but if they don't fit together, like just look at the Nets. If you and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but if you take Harden away from the Nets, they look horrible.
Yeah.
He has changed his game, so good on him that he's been able to do it. He's changed his game to bring that team together. If you find a way to disrupt Harden, or if he gets injured again, they're not making it out of the next round.
They don't have a bench because they traded it all together.
They traded it all the way for Harden, yeah.
Especially LeVert. I think LeVert was one of the better players.
Last thing we'll say, we'll switch gears and then we'll let you go here. We'll go football, but that Nets team is hard to watch. I mean, it's 3 of the most talented players in the NBA, and that's it. They just give them the ball, get out of the way, and
Blake Griffin 2 points the other night.
It's not the Golden State Warriors where the ball's buzzing around and Steph's making shots and Clay's making shots and they're getting looks. It's like, no, it's just ISO ball. It's
like Joe Harris. I think Joe Harris is not a bad player there.
Oh, he's a great piece, but it's like they just give the ball to one of the 3 and like get out of the way, and maybe you'll get a pass if they double me.
It's difficult basketball to watch. I agree. It's if they look, and they have the talent to have that offense that you mentioned, like the Warriors. They have the talent to have a ball movement where anyone can take an open shot, and they'd be in great shape. But you're right. It's one guy gets the ball, it's ISO. Okay, next guy's turn. It's almost like they take turns on who's going to play some ISO.
Yeah,
is that coming from Steve Nash though? Like, I mean, you first year coach guy. I mean, basically they don't have
no coach. They don't have a coach.
They don't. Yeah, Nash is let's be honest, how he was successful, right, was in Mike D'Antoni's system where it was free
a bench
flow
coach
and you were going.
Yeah.
And now I don't think he's got, although they asked for him to come in, right? KD and Kyrie said, hey, this is who we want. I don't think he's got enough. He doesn't have enough experience to say, hey, this is how I want to run things. So I think he's kind of letting, for lack of a better term, the inmates run the asylum. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Well, you saw it with Jason Kidd that was there early too, right out of, he basically retired and was a head coach. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Raymond?
Yeah, so you're a big Bears fan, as we can see the helmets and hats behind
Yeah.
you. Do you think they got it right with Justin Fields, trading up and getting him, or do you think it's one of those things that they had to do because of the Mahomes issue and the Watson issue a few years back that had to trade the farm to get that franchise quarterback?
I think yes to both questions. So I had Fields ranked number 2
Yep.
in this year's draft for QBs. So when he was available there, I was screaming. We were doing a live podcast, and I was like, yeah, hey, if they can make this and not give up too much.
We tried that.
Right? Because let's be honest. Yeah, it was a disaster.
Yeah, we got really drunk.
Bill got really drunk.
But yeah, I said, as long as they don't give up too much to move up, right, then that's the right move. They had to make that move.
Yeah.
Because now this may turn out to be another disaster. As a Bears fan, I'm thinking, hey, he's going to be the one that breaks the Ohio State curse. On the flip side, if he performs like pretty much every other Ohio State quarterback, we're in a lot of trouble. But I think he's talented enough. Listen, Nagy's still a good coach if he's aggressive. His problem over the last few years is he hasn't been aggressive, right? The run's been working. He doesn't do it. He's supposed to be this, another one of these boy geniuses who's supposed to have all these great plays, but he never does them. So
it's from Andy Reid, right? He came from Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're battling.
It's one of those things with Belichick. His guys don't do shit, especially the defensive guys. He brings all in. They don't do shit.
But he hasn't really had a chance. Yeah,
No,
Mitch
no, but
Trubisky.
I see
Trubisky back there. You can't do anything with that.
Well, Andy Dalton. Let's see what you got. Hugh Jackson made him a Pro Bowler, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But no, it's. I think you're right though with the Belichick comparison to Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes a lot of OCs look really good, and then when Nagy's a good example, he leaves and he's look. He hasn't been horrible, but let's be honest. Ryan Pace has been a terrible evaluator of QB talent. He picked. Just go through the list. He picked Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson. Now Mahomes, I get it. He wasn't really high in a lot of draft boards.
You mortgage your future to move up one spot.
One spot.
That should tell you right there and there. Oh.
He also signed Mike Glennon. He also signed Nick Foles. And traded. And he was also super high, but he couldn't get Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. Whoops.
Right? He's not a very good evaluator of QB talent. So I hope this Fields one wasn't his, because then it might work.
Who's that guy with Peyton Manning? Remember when he went to Denver, he got a head coaching job too, and he flamed out twice. I forget what the Chargers' old coach. It's the same shit.
You're running up against a history. You just said it, Ohio State in their quarterback history, and Chicago. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in some religious book that they're not allowed to have a good quarterback. So,
no,
yeah, you're going up against some
Sid
serious
Luckman.
history.
We got Sid Luckman as our best quarterback of all time. But I will say this, I had he wasn't that great. I had Adam Rank on the show with Coach, and we were trying to convert him to be a Bears fan. And the one thing that Adam and I agreed on is we are going to move Aaron Rodgers. We are going to pack his stuff and drive his U-Haul probably to Denver to get him as far away from the NFC and obviously the North as we possibly can. So
that's not a bad
Aaron
plan.
Rodgers is gone, we have a chance.
Would you take him on the Bears?
In a heartbeat.
Exactly.
I hate him.
Pack his shit and bring him to Chicago.
Yeah.
That'd be the biggest fuck you to Green Bay.
They wouldn't let it happen. Just think about you remember Favre, right? Wanted to go to Minnesota, and they
we talked about that the other night.
They had to go to the Jets. Yeah. So I hate Aaron Rodgers. My wife is probably a bigger football fan than I am, and we sit and argue football all the time. She's telling me about how great Aaron Rodgers is. She tells me she's become a Packers fan. I said, then we get divorced. And she goes, I hate Aaron Rodgers. What if he was a Bear? I'd love Aaron Rodgers.
Of course,
100%. Yeah,
of course. You'd just be disappointed every year in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah. So who starts for you week one? Dalton. Fields. You think Dalton starts?
Dalton starts. They probably go, I don't know, 2-2. And then they maybe week 5, week 6, they make a change.
This we
You traded Khalil Mack. Gave up a lot to get him. He I thought he was down year last year.
I like the new defensive coordinator. I'd like to see what he does. He's more of the Vic Fangio type. So I think we're going to see, for lack of a better term, a resurgence of the Bears defense this year over last year. However, it's going to be dependent on the offense, right? If they can keep them off the field, no one can play 75% of the game, right? No defense can do that and make enough stops. So if the offense can be average, they'll be okay in that division. Let's be honest, the divisions, again, assuming Rodgers is gone, the division's not great, right? Lions, you got Goff as a starting quarterback. Now, I will say this, I'm a little scared of the Vikings because every odd year they seem to play really well. For no other reason than it's an odd year. Yeah. So, again, Green Bay without who knows what you're getting out of Jordan Love. So there's a chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's enough talent. Now, let me ask you a serious question. I want you to put some good thought into it here. As Patriots fans, obviously, all eyes are on the quarterback position. So given the option between Cam Newton or Geno Smith, who would you take?
Geno Smith.
We'll take some time. Think about
it. No, I'm question mark. It was Geno Smith.
Yeah. No, that's kind of where I put.
I thought that was your answer.
No. I am maybe one of the few.
Oh, don't do it.
All right, listen, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, but I got to tell you why first. So, Coach has been on. He's good friends with the guys from I Am Athlete, and so we kind of had some unfortunately recorded conversations, right? And the one thing we talked about Cam was he was good those first couple of weeks before he got COVID. Not having a training camp, not really understanding the terminology of Belichick's playbook. That
Stop trying to talk up Cam Newton, please. Just please.
No, hold on, cut you off right now. I have one more question, though.
I think this is Cam's last shot. And I like guys who are desperate, and you know what I mean? Like, it's his last shot. So he's either going to be really good and everyone's going to be like, wow, he surprised me, or he's going to be horrible and he's going to be out of the league.
We're going to go with B on that one.
But I'd rather have me as quarterback than Geno Smith. So I'm going with Cam.
Well, you've probably never been punched in the face by an athlete. And just to be
I have.
by a
Trust
teammate.
Me, I have.
And just to be fair, I did
maybe a
take
story
Cam
for
over
another
Geno
day.
Smith. He was just literally the only person in the NFL I took Cam over. I would just be curious if Coach had an opinion on Cam Newton and the fact that he literally throws the ball into the dirt every time, if that had anything to do with missing OTAs and not knowing the playbook.
That might have more to do with his shoulder.
Yeah, a little bit.
But let me ask you guys: who's your quarterback week one?
Cam Newton.
It's gonna be Cam. It sucks. Really? They say that, yeah.
Yeah, I think
week 5 or 6, you'll see Mac. I think.
Yeah. Same with you guys do with the Bears. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit, but yeah,
it's less about Cam Newton and Mac Jones. I think, when more about Bill Belichick and where does his ego land.
Especially that Bucs game week 4. They're not. I don't think they're gonna play Mac Jones prime time against Tampa. Brady coming back.
No,
that'd be rough.
I just.
How do you feel, or how do you think Coach feels about seeing Brady kind of go to? Let's be honest. If there was an equivalent, and I hate this term by the way, but if there was equivalent NBA term in the NFL for super team, right? That was kind of the Bucs last year.
Mm-hmm.
How does it bother him that Brady walks away and wins the Super Bowl first year?
No, I think Brady's dead to him. No, I
don't know if you saw the check that Mr. Kraft wrote this season, but it was $250 million. And that was all coming from Bill Belichick's chapped ass. That's how much he hated watching that happen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's not the 100% motivation. I think he is still in it to win and chasing Shula and all that stuff. But week 4, that's
so week 4 you got Cam. Whatever happens. Then kind of week 5, week 6, Mac Jones.
Unless Cam goes 4-0. Unless
check that contract. When does Cam's incentives kick in?
Week 1.
Week 5.
How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about watching Brady go down there and grab us?
Tom Brady's fucking dead to me. I could give a shit less about him. Fuck him.
You don't realize how many Buccaneers jerseys we've seen now that Tom Brady's down there.
You own one.
I had to, and it's a woman's medium.
Listen, I know it's not the Bucs, but I see a pirate flag up in behind you there, so I don't know.
Oh, it's just because it's a pirate, yeah.
It's just because he didn't have enough money to finish his ceiling.
Is that what
I have a more rational take than these idiots. I was rooting for Brady and the Bucks to lose. Brady do well, Bucks lose. I still have affiliation. And then when he got in the playoffs and he was doing what he was doing in the playoffs, I was Team Bucks, go win. Like this is I root for greatness. That's an unbelievable story. Unbelievable story.
Can I ask you this for all three? I have one more question for you guys. Mahomes, now that he's lost to Brady in a Super Bowl, can he ever be the GOAT?
Nope.
Yeah, he's gonna get 8 or
Yeah,
9
yeah,
or whatever.
he has to
whatever
get-
Brady
he-
ends with.
That's what he has to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, because if he gets 7, it's but he still lost to Brady, so
But he
he
still
has to
lost.
get 8 or 9.
He has to get 8 or
Well,
9.
you
Yeah.
gotta think he's lost to Brady twice, man. That AFC Championship game,
Ooh.
2018. I mean, 2018. I mean, that was, they were up. They should have won that game, and then losing in the Super Bowl. I thought Mahomes was a no-show. So I mean,
And just before we finish up here, the Mahomes GOAT talk, stop. It's just
How
how old is Andy Reid? You have to Brady and Belichick.
he's a
did
bucket
that
of
for
fried
20
chicken
years.
away from being dead.
Yeah, Andy Reid's going to be out soon. Mahomes, I'm not saying he's relying on Andy Reid, but that's a big part of the game.
Yeah.
And, no one's matching Brady. Come on, no one's matching Brady.
I actually don't. I refuse, and I have 2 exceptions in 2 different sports. I refuse to have anyone active in the GOAT conversation. I make an exception because Brady's clearly the guy. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he's dead to you or not,
that would count.
And
Atlanta
for
solidified
LeBron, I allow him to be in the conversation because he's been there so long. Like he's played longer than most of the guys who are done. But other than that, I'm like, if you're still active, I want to see how your career changes because I can't trust your stats, your shooting percentage, all that other stuff until you're done.
Yeah, and let it all kind of settle and rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like at 5 years before you get in the hall.
I'm like the Hall. Yes,
There you go.
I make them wait a couple of years.
Yeah.
Anthony K's
Let
opinions
it,
are like
let
the
it
Hall of
digest, and then we'll make a
Listen,
decision
my
on
Hall
that.
of Fame is a lot tougher to get in than that stupid basketball Hall of Fame that everybody gets into.
Fame. Oh my
Okay.
God, yeah.
That's true.
Everyone should be a small hall guy. That should be the rule.
Do you have Super Bowl predictions? Who do you have for Super Bowl? It's June, I know. It's
So
early.
It's a little early, and this is going to bother you, but in the NFC, I'm going with the Bucks to get back in
So you have
because I really don't see anybody else that's good enough right now. And then AFC really it's really still again the Chiefs to lose. Although being in Toronto, I would like to see.
Don't say it.
The Bills. I would like to see the Bills. I would like to see the Bills just for my neighbors so they'd shut up. But then I tell them, but then you're gonna have 5 losses. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's tough.
But unfortunately, I think it's again barring any injuries or something, they're really the best team.
I mean, I was rooting for Brady to crush the Bills in the Super Bowl. I mean, that would have just been the dream. Their best season in since the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Since their 4 losses
93,
in the Super
94,
Bowl.
yeah.
Just to go up, Brady finally leaves the division, and they got to run into that prick in the Super Bowl. It just would have been so fitting. It would have been so fitting.
Yeah.
So hold on. I should say my true prediction, right? It's Bears and Patriots.
Not a
Oh,
boy.
yeah, there you go.
That a
Now-
boy.
Not a
Now
boy.
we're
Hey,
talking.
Hopefully,
So-
it's the same outcome
yeah.
for me.
So on your website, sportsfluent.com, you're campaigning to bring an NFL team to Toronto.
Yes.
So
yes.
is it because you don't like the Bills Mafia? You haven't slammed anyone through a table that you just don't want to be a part of the Bills Mafia?
It just hurts. Have you ever been put through a table? It's a pain, man.
No, I want to
It's
put Bill
very
through
big.
a table.
Listen, I think Toronto
Okay,
is Toronto's a great sports city for those that haven't been here when their teams are good, or the Leafs.
Yeah.
They like you saw what happened with the Raptors, right? Like, I mean, there was more people standing outside
That was crazy.
in the pouring rain to watch a basketball game. It's what, the 4th or 5th largest city in North America. There's no reason why we shouldn't have an NFL team. And if you looked where I put that on there, I actually even have a plan for it, right? There's this big, huge piece of land right on the lake that's it used to be called the Ontario Place. It was like an amusement park type thing. And it's just been sitting there vacant for years. And no one knows what to do with it. So I'm like, hey, they tried to put in a casino. It didn't work. They wanted to redevelop it. It didn't work. And it's 2 kind of separate islands. I won't go too much into details.
No,
But
go
it's 2
ahead.
separate islands
Yeah.
that are attached by a bridge. So I'm like, this is great because I measured it out. And the one island is the same size as the Bills Stadium with parking and everything. So you can put the stadium in one with like a bridge with high walls, obviously. The problem is licensing. You can't tailgate. But you can make that second island. You can license that second island, and that's where you could tailgate and then walk across to the game.
Ooh,
It's
smart.
You know they'd put
right-
him in
right
the
on the lake.
stupid Rogers Center.
It's no Sky Dome.
Sorry.
You're right. It's old. At the time, it was cool, I guess. But yeah, so I think they're a big enough city. We've got it. The problem is, I think 50%. I've done the math here, right? 50% of the season ticket holders for the Bills are from Toronto. So it would probably kill the Bills.
Yeah.
Which,
Hey, man.
it
They
is what it
threatened
is.
it, right? They
The
played
Sabres are on the
home
way
games
out.
there.
The Bills can be right behind them. That's fine.
You know what I thought? I actually wanted to incorporate Buffalo though, and say, hey, that's where we do like off-season OTAs, training facilities, so you still get that vibe.
Give them a nice pat on the head.
Yeah, exactly. Listen. Buffalo is not a great economic. I'm not going to knock anybody who lives there. It's just not a great economic city. It just doesn't have enough going on. So it just makes sense to move it to the bigger city.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you on that one.
Yeah.
Who would you take? Obviously, you're not going to get an expansion team if this all comes to fruition. You can't take the Bills and you can't take the Bears. Who would you want as your team up there in Toronto?
I can't take the Bills.
Nope, you can't take the Bills, no Bears.
Okay, then I have two other options. I want either the Titans or the Jags.
I think Jags would be the most realistic option.
And the Jags, yeah. Like if they're talking about moving the Jags to London,
yeah.
Why not go to Toronto?
Just come to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it might be Mexico City first before Toronto.
Which is crazy to me. Why would you do that?
Dude, they have to put
New
barbed
market,
wire
baby.
fences in those stadiums just to play. It's like, all right, come on.
Yeah, you
Yo,
gotta be-
there's
you gotta
barbed
be
wire
careful.
fences
You gotta be
around your
careful.
house. Don't be so judgmental.
So we are taking donations. We'll start a GoFundMe page. I know you guys will invest, and we'll bring
Absolutely.
bring NFL teams to Toronto.
Yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
put it up there. Sounds like you have the plan. I'd start trademarking stuff. All right,
Yeah,
man,
I got the name right. You know, it's the Toronto North
there you go. We are the
with like a
North.
lumberjack as the logo.
Hey, I would say if it happens, we donate. You can give us some season tickets, but I'm not allowed in Canada, so
That's actually,
Yeah, those DUIs will kill you every time.
That's
but-
See, he knows. He knows.
how long do
That-
they last? When can I come?
You got to remember, I used to live. I think it's forever because it's a DUI is a felony. It's a felony charge in Canada. I've lived pretty much everywhere, but I've lived where California, Colorado, Arizona, and so people always say, "Hey, like friends, hey, can I come up?" I'm like, "Got that DUI? Remember, in like '97, you can't come visit. I'll come visit you in the winter." Yeah.
wow, Canada. That is
Love
rough.
it.
That's awesome. Ray, you want to head up to Montreal soon?
Yep.
There you go. Bill, you can hang out at the lake. We'll see you on the other side. Anthony, thanks for taking your time, man.
Thanks, guys.
This has been a lot of
This is
fun.
Yeah, this is really fun.
Sportsfluent.com. So pump your stuff here. So where
right, so-
and when do we get the show? And you got blogs, you got a whole site, you got everything going
There's
on.
a ton of stuff. So yeah, sportsfluent.com will give you everything that I do. So I have sportsfluent.com, the Coach and AK, which is the weekly show with Coach that comes out every Thursday. A bunch of clips, like the video portion of it is on YouTube at SportsFluent. Every social media is sports_fluent. But I'm also part of the Undrafted Sports Media Network. And that's
Nice.
a group of about we got 35 podcasts, and we got everything: hockey, baseball, NASCAR, F1, wrestling. It's a really cool wrestling show.
Oh,
Sunday Night's
Ray
Main
loves
Event,
wrestling.
Ooh.
which is a really good show. Yeah, so we've got it pretty much all at undraftedsports.com as well.
Right on, man. Well, hey, if you're looking for some more, give us a jingle. If not, we'll have it back on at any point in time, or we'll come talk to you guys about your Bears when they go 0-6 or whatever.
1-5. The only downside is we can't go 8-8 anymore. That's the
Oh,
Yeah,
you have to
that's
figure out a new one.
In Ray's math, you can.
Yes, in my math, it's all possible.
8-1. 8-1 might
There
be
you
a
go.
possibility. We got
There
it
you go.
covered.
There you
There's
go.
a handful of teams in the league that was like, damn it, that just screwed everything up.
Yeah, Jeff Fisher would be so pissed if he was still coaching the league right now.
Oh yeah.
He would like my my thing that I started about getting rid of all overtimes in the regular season. That way you could have a couple more ties.
Oh, he would love
Yeah,
that.
Hugh Jackson probably would love that.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, that just thanks, Bill. We're never talking to coaching again.
Just one last dig before we're out.
Perfect. All right, man. We appreciate it.
I'm recording with him. I'm recording with him here in about an hour. I'll send him your info.
There you go.
Perfect, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Let him know he's got
We
some
would love
fans.
to have him on, especially if he's good for laughs.
Oh yeah, you know what? No one has a better sense of humor than Coach. I think if you forget all the coaching stuff, like as just a guy, like he's a great guy.
He's probably down to earth, like coolest dude you probably ever talked
He's the
to.
coolest dude you ever talked to. And listen, he puts up with me for an hour every week, so he's got to be really patient too.
Yeah, Al Davis kind of fucked him that one and done year and the Raiders too.
No, yeah.
That was Mark. I don't know. If
Whatever. The whole fucking Davis family, who gives a shit? They're all the same.
I'm going to leave you with this quick story, right? Because I know you guys got to go.
Go ahead.
So Al Davis, puts his arm around Coach one day and says, "Hey, you're our coach moving forward. Like we got a lot of faith in you." I think they're on a road trip, and that's when Al passes away.
Yeah, Brady beat him. They were in Mexico,
and he's flying back on the plane, just kind of staring at this empty seat. And in the off season, it's like, "Hey, we're moving in a different direction," and they let him go. And it wasn't Al. He's a big fan of Al Davis, which Al's interesting.
Al's
guy.
Al. Yeah.
Al.
You don't
just
find
Mark's.
any of
Dude, have you
those.
seen Mark's
Diehards.
haircut? Dude. Oh, those white pants and that white.
It might help him with COVID, where he couldn't get a haircut there for a while. It probably worked in his favor.
Yeah, hopefully.
Let that thing.
I still can't. That's what this is from.
Yeah,
'Cause
COVID.
we still can't get a haircut up here.
Oh, we're
shit.
wide open. We're wide fucking open.
No, we're in lockdown right now until the 14th, and they might even extend it again.
What? You guys got big outbreaks right now, or are they just being assholes?
I think a combination of both.
Yeah.
I think they're being assholes, but we're over 1,000 or however many thousand every day still.
Oh, wow.
So I get it. Yeah, we haven't slowed down a bit.
No vaccines up there at all or anything?
I got my first one. So I haven't even. I get my second one, I think, in July.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've been slow to the party on the vaccines, which is probably part of the
It's that
problem.
free healthcare,
I
man.
was going to say, it's a free healthcare.
Free
It's fucking-
healthcare. Free. You want to see how much I pay in taxes?
I know. I work with a bunch of Canadians, and it's like 55%.
Holy shit.
It's not free. My green card is about to get renewed. I might make a trip back down because
There you go, yeah.
it's killing me.
Come get yourself. Actually, Les, if you got a minute, we didn't talk a lot of the sports, but do you have any opinion on NHL hockey talk? Do you think Canada's going to open up? Let those guys bounce back and forth with the Stanley Cup coming up?
Listen, at the end of the day, as much as I focus on NBA and NFL, this is still an NHL country, right? Like they're going to do whatever they can to let teams come in and back and forth. And I made a joke to a bunch of guys. Obviously, it's a good thing they're not coming to Toronto. The one positive that came out of that,
Yeah.
like, oh god, yeah, they're going to let that pass for sure. There's no way they're going to, because why even play? The funny part for me is, how did you let it get this far without making that deal yet? So what if the government does say no? Do they all just go to the U.S. and play all their games on the road?
Well, they did it with the bubble too.
they
Remember,
They did it with the bubble, yeah.
They waited till the last to do it because there was talk for Vegas forever, and then they decided, at the last minute to kind of switch gears. So, and everyone heralded Bettman for it. So I don't know, maybe who knows? The NHL, it's like, could be right.
They
could be
did good with the
could
bubble,
be awful.
though.
You don't know.
Yeah.
They crushed the
zero positive tests, and I think logistically it worked with that.
The bubble they did, where they have the two cities, and listen, the bubble works if you don't go out and get chicken wings
or at a strip club.
You said it.
Well,
Sweet Lou.
but they're the best chicken wings you ever had.
Dude, who eats at a strip club?
I hear, but who eats
at a strip club?
No one.
Who eats at a strip club?
That's
Like
the
who
exact
goes to
question
lunch
I had.
buffets? Like,
Bill,
come on.
look at the screen. You tell me who eats at a strip club.
I have never eaten at a fucking strip club.
No.
If you're looking at me, a man bun down here, yeah.
No,
Oh,
the other
Ray.
guy,
Oh,
the
Ray.
fat one, you idiot.
I've never eaten at a strip club.
I'll
Never.
eat anywhere, but not a strip club.
Never a strip club. No way.
That's risking
Hey, I
it
think
all right there.
Tens has prime rib every Thursday. So
No, I'm sure that's stellar.
Yeah.
Hey, you'll be down to two. Hey, if you're trying to get rid of one guy, that's the way to do it.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate the time. Stay in touch.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
talk
It's
to you
fun.
again. We'll talk
Yeah,
to
this
you
was
soon.
very fun.
See you, man.
Thanks, man.
see ya.
No, don't report. Anthony K.
That was fun. Very fun.
Good sport.
Great sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
especially-
to. I mean, you have to imagine Hugh Jackson's a good sport about.
He has to be.
You have to
statistically
be.
one of the
You're either
worst
going to be
coaches in NFL history.
a big asshole about it and hate everyone, or you're just going to laugh it off. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
if you're going to maintain that type of job, if you're going to be a coach still, you have to have that kind of bounce back mentality. It's like, I went 3-36-1, but I still know what I'm talking about.
Especially if you're not making excuses about it. Like, yeah. I mean, he was really good with the Bengals. I mean, him and Marvin Lewis down there in Cincinnati. I mean, he was a great offensive mind. I bet one question I'd love to ask him: do you regret that? You just took a job, you got some interviews, and then you just kind of took the first job that was offered you. You do it all over. You going to fucking Cleveland? I guarantee he says no.
Especially with that nerd up in the front office, fucking the GM that they had up there.
I mean, yeah, Paul DiPodesta. He fucking put Oakland. He was up there with Billy Bean. Went to the Mets, and then he was a huge money ball guy. I think fucking Jonah Hill played him in the movie. I think that was DiPodesta. So I mean, it was a terrible hire. You can't bring a baseball guy in. Those guys don't cross sports very well. I mean, Gary Bettman did a little bit. I think he was a basketball guy. If I'm not mistaken. He was in the front office of basketball. Kind of went to hockey. There's a reason everybody fucking hated him. He's had the more lockouts than anybody. So I mean, it doesn't usually work that well.
No, especially in a sport like baseball, it's such a different.
The analytics work in baseball as much as we fucking hate it.
They certainly work. But football,
how do you analytically correct football? You can't, right? I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, you got your shot, you take it, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We said,
but
that guy knows more football than fucking.
Oh yeah,
We're not even close.
I mean, it's funny to shit on him, but I mean, like, dude, the guy's a two-time NFL head coach. I mean, guy's been in the league.
You went 0-16. You have to be shit on. You go 0-16. You win 3 games.
Who is the Colts
coach? It's fucking hilarious. It's as hilarious as the Maple Leafs going 0-8 in the last game 7 and not winning since '55.
Who is the Colts coach?